Hello, this is my first video presentation in a series of video conferences under the title of Decolonization. And this series of videos will discuss a couple of topics I will present later. Now, as an introduction into this topic, decolonization, what happened under the notion of decolonization presented as a liberation from colonialism? Let's have a quick look at the historical situation or background. Half a century after the end of colonialism, the critique of decolonizing social thought presents this critique with its term of a decolonization as an unfinished project of anti-colonialism. What are the political developments that since World War II until today discussed as this decolonization, presenting these developments of the former colonized world as freeing the colonized world from remains of colonialism? What are the political developments that happened during this period? Firstly, the transformation of the colonized world. Towards what? Towards the very society system of the colonizers, capitalism. This society system, which during colonization denied the colonized world the society system it practiced, capitalist societies create and impose pre-capitalist societies if it suits them. In other words, colonialism was the activity of capitalist societies, and colonialism shows that capitalist societies have no problem at all to force other societies to act as pre-capitalist, kind of feudal societies. But they are no feudal societies. They are colonized societies, colonized by capitalist societies, denying them the very society system the colonizers practice. This tells something about capitalist societies because it means simply that they do not only allow the existence of pre-capitalist society if it suits them, they even use their power forcing other societies to not become capitalist societies if they benefit from that. So, how then did this transformation of the colonized societies towards this society system of the colonizers happen? The answer is this: civil wars and, I come back to this point later, Vietnam. Vietnam, the bombing of a country which tried to fight for becoming an independent state, sympathizing with the Soviet Union, and this sympathizing was punished by the United States with the total destruction of that country. In fact, the winner of World War II was the United States, an almost non-colonial power, and the losers of the World War II were all colonizers, the colonizers in Europe. So the way the colonies were transformed into the society system of the colonizers into capitalism happened by civil wars against colonialism, and it happened as civil wars between political parties which were both supported by either alliances of capitalist countries, Europeans and Americans, under the leadership and supervision of the United States, fighting political parties supported by these capitalist countries, fighting with their political rivals, which at that time aimed at anti-capitalist societies supported here or there by the Soviet Union. Another important thing I should mention, talking about the historical background that happened during the period before this debate about decolonizing occurred. Another thing that happened was the Cold War between the capitalist world and the anti-capitalist society system of the Soviet Union, established in the Soviet Union. This was ruling the world after World War II, the Cold War. It ended with the termination of the alternative society project of the Soviet Union and the return of the Soviet Union to capitalism. In this context, one should also mention that the debate about decolonization has a lot to do, as I will show in the following presentations, with the strange relations between the Soviet Union and the anti-colonial movements for independence, and with a particular interpretation of Marxism, or of Marx, the so-called historical materialism. I will come back to this in the context of my following presentations. All these were hot and cold wars, and the result of all these wars is this. There were political movements fighting against colonialism, aiming at alternative societies than those of the colonizers. And there was even almost half of the world an alternative society system, an anti-capitalist society system under the rule of the Soviet Union Empire. And all this, the alternative society system in the Soviet Union, the civil wars fighting for establishing non-capitalistic societies in the colonized world, it all ended up with the end of the Soviet Union, finally, with a world that consists all over the world of this very capitalist society system. And once this was all finished, done, a world of capitalism, around the end of this 20th century, beginning of the 21st century, this discourse about decolonization occurred, presenting these thought theories opposed as still a colonized way of thinking, it presents this via the notion of decolonizing thinking as a fight against remains of colonialism. So, the world is a world of capitalism. Decolonizing social thought opposes remains of colonialism.